Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. Thank you so much for clicking my video. Today's video is extra special because I have another Patreon commission for you guys. Before we get started, I want to give a big shout out to all my patrons and a huge thank you to Denadra for sending me another commission. If you want to join this community or download the sim, the CC links and sim download folder will be public and you can find them on my Patreon linked in the description. Also, don't forget to hit that like button if you are a fan of Sims, Marvel, or both, and subscribe for more content like this. I'm a small full-time content creator, and having you subscribe, like, and comment on my videos is a great way for YouTube to know that people enjoy my content. I would greatly appreciate it, and it would help my channel to continue to grow. Now, as you guys can see, we have a marvelous lineup of X-Women today. As Denadra stated, I will be creating Sims inspired by Jean Grey, Emma Frost, Mystique, Rogue, and Storm, which means they will not look exactly like the comic version, nor the actresses that have played them. I'm familiar mostly with the movie versions, but today I'm creating them in my Sim style for fun, and I hope you all enjoy this video as well. Each of these mutants brings a unique set of powers and complex personality that has made them iconic within the Marvel Universe. I will be talking more about each one as I make the Sims, and also include little facts here and there that you may or may have not known. Stay tuned for the end of the video for tons of facts I learned about Storm. She's my favorite character, so I'm saving her for last today. Now let's begin exploring the vast cosmos with Jean Grey. Initially portrayed as a telekinetic mutant, Jean Grey evolves into one of the most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe, known as the Phoenix. She possesses telepathic and telekinetic powers, allowing her to move objects with her mind and read or control thoughts. The Phoenix Force amplifies her abilities to cosmic levels, making her a being of immense power and potential. Because of this, she became the very first female X-Men member. She first encountered the Phoenix Force, a powerful cosmic entity, while piloting a spacecraft back to Earth. During the event, she was exposed to lethal levels of radiation. Instead of dying, her latent telepathic and telekinetic powers combined with the Phoenix Force to save her life and transform her into the Phoenix. For all of the Sims today, I focused heavily on their faces, and I used their iconic comic costumes made by Plaza Sims. For each of the Sims, I wanted to use the same hair type throughout, so when I decided on Jean's hair, I thought it would be best to give all of the Sims alpha hair. I also wanted to recreate this scene, or the look of her skin and eyes during this scene, which is why I gave her this hair that kind of makes it look like she is starting to use her Phoenix power. This is how she came out. It took a lot of back and forth, but I think she came out really good. Moving on to the next Sim, we have Emma Frost. Known for her intellect, sophistication, and sometimes icy demeanor, she possesses telepathic abilities akin to Professor X. Initially portrayed as a villain, she evolves into a complex character with a strong sense of morality. She can read minds, project her thoughts, and even manipulate memories. Emma can take on a special form, turning herself into an organic diamond. This is another facet of her powers, where her physical strength is increased to superhuman levels. At her peak, she's able to lift approximately 2 tons, and also in this form, she's nearly invulnerable. While in her diamond form, she is unable to use her own psychic abilities, but she also has psychic immunity to others. A chilling fact you may not have known about Emma is that she started her own school for mutants, but it was nothing like Professor X's school. She wanted to give her students the opportunity to grow in power, and instead of helping the world, learn how to protect themselves from the world and fight back if needed. The Hellions became rivals of the New Mutants, which is what her mutants were called, her mutant students. Emma Frost was growing more violent as time went on, and the way she trained her Hellions was brutal. She realized that she was treating them like her father treated her, with an abusive style. However, she felt that this made her and her Hellions successful. What it resulted in was the death of her mutants. The Hellfire's Club Black Queen, Celine, held a contest for a group called the Upstarts to kill as many mutants as possible. One of them, Trevor Fitzroy, sent sentinels to the Hellfire Club, and most of the Hellions ended up dead. Emma Frost broke down and realized that Professor X might have been right all along, and she gave up her evil ways. Emma Frost later became one of the leaders of Krakoa. When Charles Xavier and Magneto planned the formation of the independent nation Krakoa, they knew they needed a government. The two created what was known as the Quiet Council and placed both good and bad mutants on it. This included both Sebastian Shaw and Emma Frost. Not only did Emma Frost gain this role as part of the Krakoa government, but Xavier placed her in charge of international trade relations, in which she worked hand in hand with both Shaw, the Hellfire Corporation, and Kitty Pryde. I think it's also interesting to look more into each of their background. Like, the more I read about each character, the more depth each of these characters had, which was just insane to me. There's so much to these characters, and the comics go on forever, so like there's so much material that I still have not come across. It kind of makes me kind of nostalgic. I want to have an X-Men marathon now, just watch all the movies. And then moving on to Mystique. Mystique is one of my favorites, not my favorite, but one of my favorites. She's a shapeshifter and a master of deception. Her abilities allow her to change her appearance at will, taking on the form of any person she desires. Mystique's agility, combat skills, and tactical mind make her a formidable adversary. She's often depicted as a morally ambiguous character, navigating the fine line between heroism and villainy. Now in the movies, I don't really understand much from Mystique in the early films because she didn't really talk much other than she's a shapeshifter and she's pretty amazing at hand-to-hand combat. But in the later movies with Jennifer Lawrence, I think I much better understood where she was coming from. She's actually very sensitive and super caring. She loves her fellow mutants deeply and will do just about anything for them. Now I will say I personally believe she mostly hugs the line of being villainous because she was heavily influenced by Magneto. And I thought a really fun fact that I found was that her powers limit the rate at which she ages. Contrary to what the movies show, her meeting Xavier when she was a child is not correct. She was in fact one of the first mutants on Earth, making her much older than Xavier and Magneto. In fact, there are only a handful of other mutants that predate her. Due to the nature of her shapeshifting cells and the way her body constantly morphs and adapts, she can heal much faster than a regular human. Therefore, she maintains the physical advantages of a woman in her prime, despite being over a century old. And two other fun facts is that she is bisexual and she had many children. She had a child with Victor Creed, or Sabretooth, who turned out to be a human with no powers at all and ended up hating mutants. She is also Nightcrawler's birth mother, and she adopted and raised Rogue, who I will be creating next. So Rogue's mutation allows her to absorb the life force, memories, and powers of anyone she touches. This power initially manifests as a curse, making physical contact dangerous. Over time, she learns to control her abilities, gaining immense strength from the absorbed powers. She can also manipulate multiple powers at once. Her life force stealing powers were a big problem for a long time. They gave her the power to take powers from others. I keep saying powers, but this was seemingly a limited ability because Rogue didn't like to use her powers on others. However, as she gained greater control, Rogue started experimenting with her powers more. Eventually, she mastered the ability to use the powers of multiple people, taking powers from her teammates and using them together. And you remember how I said Mystique adopted Rogue? Well, Mystique was supposed to be Rogue's father. In an idea that was shot down pretty quickly by Marvel, Mystique would take the form of a man and have Rogue with Destiny, who was the woman she raised Rogue with. Storm was also supposed to be bisexual, pursuing a relationship with Yukio, who is a female ninja of Japanese origin. Which leads me to the last sim I'm going to be making today, Storm. Storm is my favorite character out of all the sims I made today, and I just really like her character. When I learned that Storm is much powerful than what the movies really were showing, I just fell in love with her even more. Aurora Monroe, also known as Storm, has the power to control the weather. She can manipulate atmospheric conditions, summon storms, lightning, and even manipulate air currents, granting her the ability to fly. Beyond her elemental powers, Storm is a skilled combatant, possessing leadership qualities and a strong sense of responsibility. She's often depicted as a wise and regal figure, with a deep connection to nature. Storm descended from a long line of magic practitioners, or witch priestesses, with white hair and blue eyes, hailing back to the time of Atlantis. She rarely uses sorcery in battle though, which means her abilities technically exist in theory alone. The Marvel Tarot places her under the High Priestess category, along with characters like Scarlet Witch. In an alternate universe, Storm maintains full control over her magic, as seen when she is skilled enough to impart knowledge to magic, M-A-G-I-K. She has also been shown to teleport, using extreme lightning drops to generate a portal when her team is in danger. She also owns a hammer, similar to that of Thor. It is known as Stormcaster, whose creation by Loki imbues it with the Asgardian robustness. It is a common misconception that because Storm is primarily an earthbound hero, that her abilities extend only as far as the planet. However, as an Omega level mutant, the best of the best, Storm's abilities extend well beyond the confines of the planet that she was born on. Storm has been shown to have the ability to manipulate interstellar forces like solar winds, as well as the ability to view the universe in terms of energies that compose it, making the universe itself much easier for her to control. She also has psionic resistance, which means she has developed immensely powerful immunity to telepathic intrusion. Her mental defenses are strong enough to encounter the likes of Charles Xavier, Emma Frost, and Jean Grey, three of the most powerful telepaths that I know of. She's fought Cyclops to lead the X-Men while she didn't have her powers, might I add. She was a part of the Fantastic Four and the Avengers. She was once the Queen of Mars and ruled alongside T'Challa in Wakanda. She was the first black female X-Men and the first X-Men to ever meet Xavier. When she was younger, she pickpocketed him in Egypt. So I say all this to say that Storm is definitely my favorite X-Men, and I'm gonna start saying X-Woman because these ladies carried like the last few movies, okay? They were saving everybody, and I'm here for it. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Comment down below who your favorite character is in the Marvel Universe, well, of X-Men I should say, and who was your favorite sim that I made today. Please share this video with someone who you think would enjoy it. It really helps my channel to grow. Once again, a massive thank you to all my Patreon supporters. I had an absolute blast creating these characters, and I hope you guys enjoyed as well. If you have made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. 'Cause I've been falling for you knee deep, been losing